Hello, everybody. Welcome to Trans in the Am. This is Friendly Friday. Today, I have with me Daisy. We're going to be talking about a lot of really cool trans stuff. How you doing today, Daisy?
I am doing pretty great. Right now, my cat is scratching at the door.
Ah,
But other than that, right now, I'm doing really good. It's my day off, so I'm excited to
oh,
be here.
very cool. Well, we're excited to have you. Thank you for coming on. I know it's hard to take time and set it aside, but I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So, if you don't mind, let's go ahead and do like a little bit of background. Um,
Mhm.
when did you start your transition?
So, excuse me. So for me, I came out as non-binary. I came out as non-binary back in like November of last
Hmm.
year. I just kind of was more exploring with my identity. Eventually ended up getting a therapist, and we ended up exploring a bit more of that. And for me, a lot of it was it really just came really one day it was I just asked my therapist. I was just kind of like, we'd already been talking about some gender stuff and all that, and she was aware like I identified as non-binary. But then I just kind of straight up asked her, I'm like, I think I might be trans. And she was like, well, you identify as non-binary, right? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, then yeah, you're trans. Trans just means you're not cis. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh. I don't know. And that was kind of like the breakthrough moment for me where I was just kind of like, okay, I can be this. I can't. I don't know what it was for me for the longest time, but it was just kind of like this thing. I can't be this because I don't think I'm
Hmm.
allowed to.
Right.
And I don't know. It was just that one day, my therapist, she was just kind of like, yeah, you can be this. That's who you want to be. Um, and even at that point, like I think I had one friend at the time that was calling me Daisy,
Hmm.
and I absolutely loved it. I had that name already picked out for like I don't know. I've been using that name for already like a few months, like as a alt account on
Hmm.
other things, and I really enjoyed it. And just as time went by, I kind of just identified a bit more, and I've been so fortunate. I've had a good support system. I've had a lot of friends, especially at my work, who have been very accepting, and my work has been very accepting and very helpful with me and making sure that I'm comfortable and making sure all my coworkers are understand. They may not get it, but they're at least respectful of me, and that's really what you can ask for nowadays. Feels
Right.
like
Yeah,
so.
absolutely. Well, I mean, and that's the other thing is for me, I'm working from home, so it's kind of hard for me to get into that whole mindset of do I actually need to come out and do all that stuff with work if I'm working from home, I'm not seeing my coworkers and stuff like that. I guess it's for me how much longer can I go with dead naming myself 8 hours a day uh
Mm-hmm.
to customers before I lose my mind. But yeah, no, I'm glad it's working out well for you. That's awesome to hear. Um, what an interesting story, and I think it's a really common for a lot of folks is that they feel that can't be this,
Mm-hmm.
that it's not allowed, And I think as
Yeah.
time goes on, we're going to see a lot more acceptance, a lot more bringing this into the mainstream, and you'll see a lot more people start to identify with it, just like you did,
Mm-hmm.
with gay people and stuff like that when that started becoming more accepted in the 70s and 80s and 90s and stuff. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's trying to figure out how to string this train of thought here the best way, but it's almost kind of like I mean, I guess yeah, I'm trying not to repeat myself here with that. I don't know, just kind of lost my train of thought there with that. But yeah, I totally agree. I do think things are going to keep moving forward and stuff.
yeah, absolutely. Well, do you have any other? I know you're part of the Lucy Chord. Do you have any other real life trans friends and stuff like that?
Yeah, actually, so I'm from Milwaukee. I've grown up in the suburbs of Milwaukee my whole life. Moved out closer to the city once I left my parents' house. And Milwaukee is, at least from what I can tell, it does have a pretty decent queer scene. Um, it's a very diverse scene, a lot of BIPOC, um, and there's always shit going on. There's always something. There's a little small bar venue called the Cactus Club that I don't live too far from. It seems like almost once a week or twice a week they're doing some sort of queer event. I know not too long ago they did like a drag event. Um, one of my friends who I've been talking with for a while, she DJ'd there. So Milwaukee also just had their Pridetoberfest. Since we didn't have Pride in July, they decided to do a little spooky theme with it, and we had Pridetoberfest. What was that? 2 weeks ago at this point now. So that's really fun. Yeah, I mean they're yeah. Oh, I'm having trouble hearing you.
Oh, sorry. I muted myself so I could vape. Um, yeah, no, Pridetoberfest actually sounds really fun,
Mhm.
honestly. I would love to do a Pride in October when people can like dress up and
Mhm.
get their Halloween costumes out and everything. I feel like it would be, I mean, depending on where you live, cold, but a little bit more freeing, a little bit more liberating, you know? Because it's that
Yeah.
time of year when it's accepted to dress up and be different and stuff like that. And I
Oh
feel like
yeah, and
that's
I
why
mean
go ahead.
it was like after the event was over because it only went till midnight. We just started walking around downtown, and I mean it was the gays were out. It was
Oh, yeah.
great. I mean, it was me and my friend Angel and all her group of friends, and we just kind of just we drove around. We went to a bar. The bar we ended up going to. A lot of the performers that were performing at Pride Fest ended up showing up too, which was really cool. So
Oh.
it was fun talking and meeting, all sorts of people.
Mhm.
That is the one thing I think I would say to a lot of other trans folk who are trying to find others is try to find some sort of event in your area. I know it's harder for people who live in more rural areas and stuff like that. I'm very fortunate I live very close to the city, that there's always stuff going on. But to me, that's like that's the easiest way to just meet people right now. It's just go to a lot of these queer events. I have not met a single person at any of these events who have been like hostile. Everyone is like super accepting.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's what I like about queer events is that, you know, regardless of where it's held or what kind of event it is, if it's a queer event, I can generally feel safe there. I know I'm going to be
Mhm.
within the company of people who are not going to attack me for things that, I mean, I can't help that I'm trans, like
Mhm.
God, but like I do feel more safe. And sure, yeah, there's something to be said about, well, there's like interqueer like discrimination or whatever where like
Mhm.
that, but it's like way less. Like I don't have to worry about that
There
nearly as
yeah,
much.
the a lot of the shit that is talked about online is not the stuff that queer people are talking IRL.
Yeah.
I have yet to see its discourse yet IRL. I'm
Oh
sorry.
my God. Oh.
We won't get into that. We won't get into it.
We refer to Pokemon as it, okay? That's my take. That's my damn take. That's it. It's valid, okay? Ditto's an it. It has no gender. That's it, okay? Whatever.
I stand that. I stand that
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
I stand it.
I'm gonna put all of my gender takes are gonna be rooted in Pokemon. That's it. If there's not a Pokemon mechanic to support it, I can't claim it. Sorry.
No, that's fair. That is totally fair.
Yep. Yep. So, besides that, let me actually, since we're on the topic of Pokemon, I never pass up an opportunity to talk about Pokemon. What's your favorite Pokemon?
I'm really bad at remembering names because, to be honest, I was never a huge Pokemon. I actually played a lot
Mm-hmm.
more. I played the card game a lot, like the actual cards. I was never really into the video games or the show.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Piplup? Is Piplup the one that looks like a tiny little penguin?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yes. Okay, Piplup.
Yeah.
Because Piplup was my first. My first deck was a water deck,
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
Piplup was like, I don't know. Piplup's just the cutest fucking little thing
Mm-hmm.
ever.
I love Piplup. Piplup is such a valid choice.
So
Um,
yeah, I don't know if that's super generic or basic or not, but yeah, Piplup.
I don't think so. I think starter Pokemon are a lot of people's favorites because they were the first Pokemon. People have a lot of fondness for all kinds of different starter Pokemon. And, they're meant to be the cutest. I mean, you're not going to start with a Grimer anywhere, are you? No. Uh-uh. So, yeah. It makes sense that people really like the starter Pokemon. Did you know that they did like they partnered with what was it like Nabisco or something, and they did like little Pokemon themed mini versions of snacks. So they did like mini Oreos and they did mini Nilla wafers and stuff like that. And they had on the boxes they had like all the
Yes.
starters. Oh,
Yes,
it's so good.
I only know why because my roommate, she got it for her girlfriend.
Ah,
And she was showing me all of it. She was making this little gift basket for her, and she was showing me all this stuff, and I was like, cute.
that's so cute. Oh my
I don't know.
god.
I'm a sucker. I don't know. In my house, like we grew up, like fucking Oreos were like always the big treat, and
Hmm.
like my mom would always get like anytime the seasons were out, we always got you get the orange ones around Halloween, the red ones at Christmas, and now it's like now they go all out with all these different flavors, and I'm like, I don't know. Maybe capitalism does breed innovation.
Did you see that video of the I think it was a College Humor video or something where they did the it was like the Oreo CEO is talking to all of the like Oreo scientists about all the different types of Oreos and he's like, "What are you doing? We've already perfected the go home. Why are you still working? We don't need barbecue flavored Oreos. Just stop."
True. That is so true.
Yeah, and they were like
Unironically true.
they were going through like lists of like cookies they were developing and they were like, "Oh, we've got quadruple stuff." And he was like, "What is that?" And he was like, "Well, you know double stuff?" And he was like, "Uh-huh." And he's like, "Well, just more of the double stuff." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, just okay, stop. You're done. You're
You
done."
know what I'm waiting for them to do? I'm waiting for them to do the inverted Oreo where it's two creams
Oh,
and a cookie in the middle.
oops,
That's what I
backwards
want.
Oreos. Oh, that would be
Oops, all
amazing.
cream.
Ooh, that would be fun too. Oh, you
Ooh.
could get like just a jar of the Oreo cream and you could smear it on like you
Wait,
could
is that a
do
thing?
you could do Nutella Oreo sandwiches. Nutella and Oreo cream.
We're on to something. We are on to
I
something.
think we've got to do it. I think we have to do it. Even if you can't buy the Oreo cream, I think we should get a pack of Oreos and just cream them all out, right? And just
Slide them
cream them
all
all
out.
out. And then we're gonna get a thing of Nutella and we're gonna put it in a blender and we'll put some like what's your favorite ice cream? Like
Ooh.
Rocky Road or something like that?
To
We'll
be
put
honest, my favorite ice cream is cookies and cream.
cookies and cream. Yes, that's perfect. Okay, we'll put cookies and cream in there, and then we'll have a big ass milkshake, and it's gonna be so dope. We'll die, but
I'm
it'll
here
be worth
for
it.
it.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. That sounds like a heart attack, but I'm here for
Oh
it.
yeah. Well, did you see the 14-pound burger?
Yeah. I think it was it 13 or 14? It was something crazy
The
like
one
that.
with like the
Yeah.
four fried eggs on top of it or some shit?
Yes, and it's like it almost looks like when they have it on there, it almost looks like a huge fucking pancake.
Yeah, you're eating a fucking calf, is what you're doing. You're eating a whole fucking cow, but when you eat
Mm-hmm.
that burger, and it's disgusting, it disturbs me, and it's just a waste. Most of the people that order that are not going to eat it. You're just ordering
Mm-hmm.
it to order it, and it's absurd. It
For the joke. It's for the meme. You gotta do it for that free t-shirt.
got to do it for the food tourism, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what other difficulties have you encountered as far as like your transition goes? Have you encountered a whole bunch of transphobia in your life? Do you have
I mean, I'm pretty out at work. I mean, I get
mhm.
misgendered pretty like daily. I actually one day I just counted and the rate was at least only once per hour, so that wasn't bad. You know? Um or I mean, I've had people like I had one dude like cuz my name tags has I it was like literally right after I got my name tag changed.
Mhm.
This dude asked me, "Is your name Daisy?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "That's gay." And I'm like, "Gee, I sure hope so." like
Yeah.
thanks. Like what
Thank
else is
you.
new?
Right? What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's weird.
So yeah, I've had that, and then like there's this one regular that they still dead name me constantly. And here's the thing: they never even called me by my by my real name to begin, or my dead name to begin with. It
Mhm.
was always a shortened version of it that I hated even more. So like, this guy never has called me by the right name to begin with,
Yeah.
and I wear nail polish and shit. And I remember him fucking asking me like, what is with that nail polish, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, don't worry, I still like girls, calm down.
Yeah.
Like, I like both, like, I don't know, I just had
Uh,
weird people, like, because I mean, being from the Milwaukee area, I work out in Waukesha County, so for those who aren't familiar, don't know, Milwaukee is literally the most segregated city in the United States. I literally was just reading an article. We literally have a uh, what is it? I don't know. I can't remember exactly, but it's very night and day.
mhm.
And so the people in the city are generally a lot more accepting. They're generally a lot more friendly. But you move out more towards the burbs where I work. Yeah, that's where you enter Trump country, and
Oh
still
yeah.
people waving their fucking flags, and it's like it's been a year, and I wish at work now because we get so many of these people. I just want to I laugh. I try to hold it in sometimes when I see them, and I just want to fucking point at them and laugh and be like, "You fucking loser."
Yeah.
Keep crying, like,
Mhm.
oh,
I wanted so bad to get a big ol' Trump lost sticker to stick on the back of my car, but where
mm,
I'm at in Colorado is also Trump country. So,
mm,
yeah, probably not a good idea because even with just having the Bernie stickers I have on the back of my car, I had someone basically follow me around and stalk me through a parking lot once. I was
oh my
coming home
god,
and I needed to go to the grocery store on my way home. And so I had to, well, I merged in front of some dude and I guess that upset him. And he saw my bumper stickers or something and wanted to follow me. So I turned into where the grocery store is and I noticed the dude behind me was following me. So um I went down the parking lot and made a turn to go back up the parking lot. And I
mm,
noticed that the dude followed me as I made the turn back up, past all of the empty spots that we had just passed. And so I just made a run for it after that. Once we got to that next stop sign, I just blew through like 3 or 4 other stop signs and sped through the parking lot to get away from him.
yeah, no, I've had fucking people follow me like that. That's fucking scary when
Yeah.
fucking people like just get road rage and shit. I got into a screaming match with someone like 3 or 4 weeks ago. They have a stop sign on their end. My way does not. So, but I'm making a right turn. So I'm slowing down. I'm looking left, see if anyone's coming, and then like I look right as I'm making my turn. So yes, I was looking like left first and making my turn, but this fucking dude was driving down the middle of the fucking road. Like, and then it's like, dude, you have a stop sign too. You're the one who needs to be slowing down. Whatever. I had my window down and he had his down, and I could see him like freaking out. And as we passed, I just said, bro, chill the fuck out. He turned his ass around and fucking followed me to the next stop sign. And he was like, yeah, I act real chill when there's not dipshits like you driving around here. And I'm just like, oh my god. And I don't know. I went into fight or flight mode. So because then once he fucking threatened and was like, you want to get out here and start fighting, bitch, or something like that, I just started screaming, fuck you at him, and blacked out, basically. Funny
Yeah.
enough, I was also going to the grocery store.
It's
I don't know
so
what it is.
weird. Like what
Grocery
is it with
store. Not safe.
grocery
Not
trips,
safe.
man?
Oh,
Anyway, yeah. No,
it
I
was
hate
fun.
this. Like people are so aggressive. There was a video that went around a couple days ago of somebody rolling coal in a restaurant. You see that?
What?
Yeah,
In how?
yeah. So I guess they parked in front of where the door was. I guess it was in front of the parking spots. And I guess the dude's friend held the door open while the dude got in his truck and fucking rolled coal through the restaurant. Now the restaurant's going to be closed for 3 weeks while they clean everything. But yeah, a whole big ass thick cloud of black smoke just rolled right into the fucking
Why
restaurant.
though? Like why?
I don't know. I don't know why anybody does that shit because it's just a waste of fuel. It doesn't do anything. All it does
Mhm.
is just produce smoke. That's it. Like half these fucking dually trucks that I see have these fucking giant smokestacks for no reason. What do you do? You're
Mhm.
not carrying nothing. No, you have a fucking office job or some shit. Why do you have a It's all
You
about
live in your
identity.
you live in your $300,000 McMansions and
Mhm.
out in the burbs, and you take your family out to fucking Applebee's every week. All right, calm the fuck
Yeah.
down.
Yeah. I don't know. People are aggressive. I don't
Yeah,
get it.
I don't know. I never been a big fan of trucks. If anything, right now I drive like a sedan, so like my next car would be like I don't know, like a sedan or not a sedan, a fucking what's it called, a Subaru
Mhm.
Outback or some shit like that, some sort of like SUV.
Oh yeah.
don't
Well, I mean, hey, if you're a lesbian, you got to have a Subi. That's just how it goes.
know.
That's going to be my next car. It's going to be a Subi.
Mm.
It's got to be. I mean, got to
Oh
represent.
yeah,
So.
absolutely, hun.
I need some trans stickers to put on the back of my car, really.
Yeah, same. Right now, I don't know what I have. I have a little baby Yoda one that says "Precious Cargo" on board.
Oh.
I think that's supposed to be like if you actually have a kid, but I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And
Just
then
have a little
I
baby
have
Yoda.
yeah, and then I got like a little Milwaukee Brewers because I love baseball. Um, Shout out to them fucking up the National League Division Series.
Oh yeah.
Um, and then I got like this Anti-Flag. I've always been into like punk music. Anti-Flag, has been one of my favorite bands. So it's like anti-racism, anti-capitalism, anti-xenophobia, anti-sexism, whatever.
Mhm.
You know, so that's my one political sticker.
Yeah. No, I've got like Medicare for all stickers and I've got those magnets and everything. I went hard. I went
Hell
hard.
yeah,
I did the I did the phone banking and everything for him and all that good stuff. I was
nice.
disappointed when he dropped out, but it made sense, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, hard to
Uh,
really justify like I don't know, continuing to campaign being a 70, 80-year-old man at the height of the pandemic.
mm-hmm.
Probably not a good idea. Probably best to just like
Yeah.
take it easy and yeah.
Mhm.
But I don't know. Sad that he didn't win, but
It
hopefully we can get
yeah, it
something.
I don't know. I say this a lot to people, and because people always ask me, like my family asks me a lot, and a lot of my coworkers why I shit on Republicans a lot, and I'm like,
Uh-huh.
I would love to just shit here on Joe Biden every day and tell you all the shit that he's doing wrong, but that's not my priorities right now. My priorities is just the eradication of conservatism. I just want Sorry, I fucking stand Vosh's stance on this. The
Yeah.
position it just makes no sense anymore. It's just an
Mhm.
ideology that needs to be gone.
Mhm.
And like when I say that to people, they think like I'm talking about like fucking murdering people. I'm like, no, I specifically say it's an ideology that just
Mhm.
doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's
So,
not going you're not going to see reform until major party leaders start changing the narrative of what's important. When
mm-hmm,
the conservative party changes what their goals are and what their ideals are, that's when you'll start to see things move in a
mm-hmm,
direction. But it first has to become unviable for them to support those ideas because right now the reason that they do is because there's a whole swath of people in America, like religious people and you know people in smaller towns, really bigoted people that they can appeal to, and you know if they can appeal to them and get their vote, that's something that the Democrats are leaving on the table, and
mm-hmm.
it sucks because as a Democrat, you can't really appeal to bigotry to get bigots' votes. It just doesn't work because then you lose your
Yeah.
base. But it's hard. I think we're gonna see it move with time. I think society's opinion of it is gonna change over time. I mean, even you consider now, you ask most conservatives, what's your opinion of gay people? It's gonna be relatively mild compared to what it was 10, 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and
I
yeah, it's just
I
gonna
had a
take time.
conversation with someone at a bar, and I was kind of drunk, not drunk, tipsy or whatever, just kind of going back and forth and stuff. I mean, that was one thing. I was like, we were talking about, or I brought up gay marriage. He's like, I don't give a shit. It's like if y'all want to go through that same hell as we do, go for it. That's kind of the opinion now. At least I think most conservative, at least single men, is that
Yeah,
fuck marriage. I mean, I'm in the same boat too. I was engaged previously, so now I'm like, okay, fuck that. I don't want to do that now.
yeah. No, I agree. Um, I actually saw a lot of that when the gay marriage topic was still big. I
Mhm.
saw a lot of conservatives that were like, "Oh, you know what? I don't give a fuck. What gay people want to put themselves through the same hill I'm going through? Yeah, by all means, go for it."
Mhm.
Um, so I think it was more the more evangelical people that kind of
Mhm.
opposed it, and I think back then there were a lot more of them to appeal to than there
Yeah.
are today. So, but
I feel like the evangelical crowd has kind of just transformed more into like just overall just the Trump crowd at this point. They're
yeah,
more upset. They're
yeah.
more obsessed with Trump than they are God at this point, in
hmm
my opinion.
Yeah, it's more Trump and the identity of Trump than it is anything to do with like their beliefs anymore.
Mhm.
Almost, it's more part of belonging to that group than it is. Oh, well, I believe this and I believe that, and that's why I'm a conservative. So
Mhm. No, that makes total sense. And I think, and I mean, and I think that's why it makes this for trans folk a lot more, I don't know, harder sometimes, because I feel like there isn't something as like with gay marriage, that was something that like cis folks could relate to, was fucking marriage. Whereas being trans, that is not really something cis folk can be really sympathetic to, or really empathetic. Hard for them to be empathetic or to get an understanding of it.
right. Yeah. I mean, it's hard for a lot of people to consider that. It was even hard for me to consider that as a kid
Mhm.
growing up. Because not to get too too into it, but a lot of my first experiences with my own sexuality came from my enjoyment of lesbian porn. And
Mhm.
the fact that lesbian porn was a lot more delicate and softer, and um, it seemed like straight porn was really aggressive. You know,
Mhm.
if I were to like look up some straight porn when I was like teenager or whatever, right? It would
Mhm.
more often than not, it would have been, um, you know, thin, busty woman, blonde hair gets slammed by giant dick over and over and over, and I'm just like,
Not for me.
little
Not for me.
aggressive. I like the foreplay. I like the delicate. I like the softness of it. I like the sensuality. Right. That's the kind of stuff that
Mhm.
that I really appreciate. And so I couldn't find that in a lot of straight porn, obviously, because it's all about
Mhm.
just like taking something beautiful and ruining it or something. I don't know what the fucking point is. Like lesbian porn, I feel like is more like appreciation of beauty rather
Mhm.
than it is destruction of beauty. And that's what I see from a lot of straight porn these days is just destruction of beauty. So I don't know. It makes me uncomfy, but most trans porn is good too. So
Bro.
yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's because
Uh,
I see
I would
myself in
I
some
would
of them.
love to do an NSFW conversation one of these days, because I have a lot I would love to say with that. I just don't want to say it on
Yeah,
your
no,
show
no,
right
you're
now.
you're fine, you're fine.
Um, no, that actually, I'm kind of glad you brought that up, because that's actually something that I relate, not in that, but like the femininity and
Mhm,
relating to femininity. So, like, most of my friends growing up were girls. I really did not identify a lot with males. So, like, a lot of my guy friends, we were friends, but like, I literally all my guy friends from high school, I don't talk to anymore. We never had that
yeah,
they all still have that connection with each other. They're all
yeah,
still buddies. I never had that with them. But a lot of my female friends from high school, I'm still really good friends
mhm,
with.
yeah,
A lot of them I talk, if I don't talk to them on the daily, I talk to them at least monthly, or at least we're still on each other's Snapchats and still interacting and stuff like that. And all my most of my friends, coworkers are girls,
yeah,
it's I've always felt like one of the girls, and maybe that was something that always kinda, I don't know, pushed me more towards this direction, because, yeah, for me, it's not, and this is, like, how I try explaining to, like, my parents and stuff. It's not about being a man, it's not about being a woman, it's about how I wanna express myself,
right,
and right now, I wanna express femininity.
yeah,
That is how I am doing it, and that's what I wanna base my identity around.
mhm,
And for 23 years of my life, I was told I shouldn't do that, or that I felt like I wasn't allowed to do that.
mhm,
So, yeah, I don't know. I guess that's another like really important thing, I guess, is the people that you really do surround yourself with, and kind of how that develops your experiences a lot, I guess.
Right. I'm not sure if it was somebody in our group that tweeted it or also, by the way, it feels good to say our group. I feel so great that I'm
Hmm.
included. I don't know. It just makes me feel good. I like meeting all these new trans people and talking about all kinds of different experiences and stuff.
I will
So
say I'm just gonna give a shout out to like Lucy and all of them in that Discord server. I watched Lucy's interview last week, and it was so much fun just seeing y'all just talk. I just felt like I was in one of our calls,
yeah,
honestly.
right?
So no, yeah, I am super awesome that now I not only now I have a an online group of friends that I can have resources, and I've met so many great people online here through this Discord server, and and I still have also IRL resources too. I think it's trying to have a good healthy balance. Both is great because there are a lot. I'm not saying there anyone in our group or anything like that, but like there are so many people who are just online and they think that everything about transness and everything about being trans is online, but it's like no, you need to unironically touch grass. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's There's so many different reasons, but I love our community.
Hmm.
I love everything about it.
Absolutely. Me too. I love how supportive it is. I love. So another thing that I've been doing is kind of like sneaking into people's curious cats and leaving like really positive messages under anonymous and just like waiting for them to come across them and then like having like little smiles or whatever in later in the day or whatever. That really makes me happy. And I really like how supportive our community is of each other.
Mhm.
And just how structured it is. You know, I don't know how much of my show you've seen, but I did also have an interview with Dahlia, and turns out Dahlia doesn't live too far from me. So we're planning on maybe hanging out sometime, touching some grass together.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's
Oh
gonna
my
be awesome.
god.
Yeah, I'm very
That's
excited.
amazing.
Hmm. But going back to what I wanted to touch on was I saw somebody had posted on Twitter, and I can't remember who it was, but somebody posted that as they were transitioning, they didn't feel like what they were doing was becoming more feminine, but rather that they were becoming more comfortable with the feminine things that they were already doing, like the behaviors and stuff, like how you bend down or how you reach for something or how you put your shirt on, stuff like that. That they were becoming more comfortable with themselves and doing those feminine things and not getting judged as much from other people for doing those feminine things after beginning transition versus before when they were still mask presenting or femme presenting. And yeah, I really like that. I think that's a very apt description of the way I feel sometimes.
Yeah, that's totally relatable. So like I would actually always get misgendered on the phone a lot. I would get called ma'am a lot. And I think you said this too.
Yep.
That now it's like I freaking love it now. And I
Yeah.
mean, because it's like I've always had a higher pitch voice. I feel like,
Right.
I now I'm gonna be thinking about how my voice sounds right now, but it's like I don't know. I've been trying to keep it more higher, not higher pitch, but like I've been trying to keep it more feminine now. I've been
Yeah.
because all my life I really was trying to keep it lower.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying so hard to have a deeper voice
Yep.
that now it's just kind of like I'm just letting it be. And now I am doing a little bit of voice training, trying to get some of those little,
Nice.
vocal exercises going. I do the thing with the little throat with your little
Oh
L's. I think
yeah.
you hold it up or whatever. I've
Uh-huh.
been doing that a lot. No, that's totally relatable, and I think that is actually like, yeah, no, that's just totally relatable. It makes me want to. I'm kind of like trying to think now. Yeah, are there other habits now other than my voice that I'm kind of like just getting into now?
Well, like let me kind of describe some of the ones that I have been concerned of growing up is that like let's say I were to like sit down on a bed or on a couch or something, and kind of like half lay down but half sit down. I would do
Mm,
that kind of thing where like you're kind of sitting on your side, but your legs are kind of curled up or whatever.
yeah, I
And
see like
yeah,
that a lot.
and so I actually had when I lived in Reno for a good number of years, and I met a lot of trans people there, and I think it really started to like that was the first formings of the crack around my egg, I think, was meeting
Hmm.
all of the cool trans people in Reno. and getting to know them and see their experiences. And I met this really great trans masc person named Sarah. And I had Sarah over a couple times, and we hung out and talked about stuff. And at one point, Sarah just turned to me and he was like, "Are you sure you're not trans?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, I hadn't really thought about it that much." And he was just like, "Well, it's just that a lot of the things that you do look really feminine to me, like the way you're sitting right now." And I was sitting like that at the time. And that just kind of really stuck with me. And I thought about it for probably like on and off for a week or two after he had said something about it to me. And I started to realize that he was right. That a lot of the behaviors and a lot of the things that I had done up to that point was more in a what you would consider like a feminine way. Like if you consume enough media or whatever, and you see how women portrayed typically do things versus how men portrayed typically do things, it would be more on the feminine side. And I don't know. So it was like after that, I bought my first bra, and I was like kind of like experimenting around with stuff, and I was like, I don't know, I might like this. But it was off and on for a couple of years, and lots of stuff happened. But now I'm at a point where I was comfortable enough that I could identify what I wanted and act on it. So
I really like that story because I also kind of relate a little bit. I relate to that where it was I was living with someone for a few months, kind of. They were dating my ex at the time, and they were kind of living in my house still together. But he was trans masc, and him and I would have conversations, and he didn't necessarily ask me if I was trans, but he definitely just kind of was like, are you kind of comfortable being who you are, or you don't have to just be like. He was another one of those kind of first things or first people to put in the idea like, yeah, this could be could be trans,
yeah.
I guess that was the partial of my egg cracking too.
Yeah. When I don't know how much you know of me, but when I came out to my mom as gay when I was 13 or 14 years old, one of the first things she said to me that same day in the same conversation was, "Honey, if you, feel like you want to be a woman, that's something we can explore. And I'll be here for you through that." And this was 2003, 2004 that she was talking about this. Like, trans people were not mainstream by any means back then. And it just kind of shocked me. I want to put a pin in
that about that time period specifically. I want to come back to that.
Yeah. Well, it just kind of shocked me because, I don't know. I guess that kind of put the thought in my head, but I was like, no. But yeah, I mean, thinking about it. Yeah.
No, that's kind of not curious, but that's kind of like that's interesting that your mother kind of like had that subtle hint, kind of like maybe she kind of picked up on some of your feminine traits, kind of like how your masc friend kind of picked up on them too,
Right. Well, I mean, and it was a bunch of like little things too. Like every time I would go to the optometrist, I would have the nurse there or whatever that was like looking at my eyes, and she'd be like, "Oh my God, you have the most beautiful eyelashes. I'm so jealous." And I was like, "Okay, I'm a 13-year-old boy, but okay, appreciate it." And then, I would like meet all kinds of like my mom's friends that knew me as a child, like a baby, after I had grown up, and they would tell me, "Oh my God, you look just like your mom," and all that stuff. And I'm like, "Not my dad? You think I look like my mom? Okay. All right." But yeah, I mean, like if you were to take a photo of me now, as I am right now, and compare it to my mom when she was in high school, spitting image. Yeah. Yeah. So. But yeah, you wanted to put a pin in that time frame?
Yeah, so that's kind of funny. So like, I mean, I was born in 97, so I kind of grew. I have older siblings that are like 10 years older than me. So one of the things, and I want to bring this up, is I think one of the things that kind of got me at least comfortable with the idea of like being trans, or like that this is a thing that people can do, was actually Mr. Garrison's character from South Park.
Oh yeah.
Like, unironically, like, I think Mr. Garrett, like, you say what you want about South Park. I know they definitely,
Mhm.
there's controversy,
Oh
whatever.
yeah.
I personally, there's episodes I very much enjoy. I grew up watching that show, all right?
Oh yeah.
But I really do think Mr. Garrison was one of the first things where I was like, oh, that's a thing you can do? You can just do that?
Yeah.
I think that also crippled me to the point where I really did think that sex and gender were the same thing and that had to be connected because
Mhm.
that was also a big thing for me to break through mentally. Because one thing I was like, well, I don't want to like get a sex change. I don't want to like do that. But then I was told you don't have to fucking do that shit,
Right.
you know. But I think that it does show like that. I think that some media it does have certain different effects on people. I mean, I get it. Some other people can see that and think they go the exact opposite way with that. They dig in further to their own values and saying that's disgusting, that's inhumane, or that's whatever. But I think it does go to show that media is up to interpretation, and you can get positive interpretations out of what I think a lot of people would perceive as a negative thing.
Right. Yeah, I mean, always you're going to have somebody that um I even thought about this, and this is a very kind of like subtle thing, but I think it's relevant to what you're discussing here. So, I've been rewatching Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Have you
Hmm.
seen it?
Yeah, good show.
Yeah, it's good. A lot of people call it propaganda, but if Brooklyn Nine-Nine is propaganda, I don't know. If
Propaganda is I don't know. Fucking watching fucking what's it called? Not Hot Pursuit. The fuck's it called? Not Cops. So there's another one that's on like True TV or some
Oh
shit.
yeah, uh-huh. Right. Yeah, no, cops is like propaganda because that's like cops actually doing their job and being portrayed as competent.
This is just Brooklyn Nine-Nine's a sitcom.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Reno 911 is propaganda. No. I would say that that's a fucking comedy show that's making fun of cops, right? I don't, but anyway, um there's a scene where the lighting and the camera angles on Rose's face really highlight a part of her face that I have been feeling really insecure about myself. And it's like there's these little pockets right here on like under my mouth that aren't exactly flush. They're kind of like bumped out a little bit, right? You can kind of see
Okay,
a little
yeah, I
bit
kind of
there.
see a little. Yeah,
Yeah,
just a little. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
just a little bit. But it highlighted that on her face too. And I kind of like saw that in myself. And this was just like last night or something. So I'm still kind
Mhm.
of like picking up little things that I can like relate to in other people that make me feel a little bit more secure about the way that I look and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I don't know, it just like seeing yourself in other characters, even if it's portrayed in like a negative light, you can see that representation, right? And that
Hmm.
like I don't know, it'll do something for you. I mean, obviously you want, trans characters to be portrayed in a good light, but at some point there's going to get to a point in our society where trans people are so accepted that we can have a trans villain and nobody's going to use that as a cudgel to beat trans people with, you know?
Hmm.
And that's,
That'll be the day. That will
yeah.
be the
Mhm.
day. And I
Exactly.
want and I want them to be a bad bitch.
Yeah. Oh
Whoever they
yeah.
are, they're gonna be a bad motherfucking bitch.
Yeah. I almost want like a trans anti-hero story. That's what I want. Like a trans
Mm.
Walter White almost.
Ooh,
Oh
that would be
yeah.
cool.
Right? Ah. Yeah, I can't wait because you've seen Orange is the New Black, right?
I haven't finished it. I think I got up to the last season. I did not watch the last season.
It's good. It's
Okay.
good.
It was one of those shows I'd watch with my ex, so it was like just kind of haven't gotten back around to it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to spoil anything for you, but yeah, it's it's a very good show, and I like that they got Laverne Cox to play because she's an actual trans woman,
Mm,
and I liked the show because of its representation. It had all kinds of people from all different walks of life that were represented, um, and seeing her on the screen and seeing kind of how she was treated. I actually started watching Orange is the New Black this year before I started
really?
transitioning. And then while I was in the middle of watching, I started my transition. So I started watching Orange is the New Black as a cis man, and I ended it as a trans woman, if that tells you anything. So,
Hell yeah.
yeah, it was great. I loved it. But yeah, I want to see Laverne Cox in more stuff. She's really awesome.
Absolutely.
But yeah, well, I'm not sure how up and up you are on all of the debate sphere stuff.
I am pretty out of it. I've been out of it
Yeah.
for a few days. When I met, it's hilarious. I used to be really caught up on everything. I would watch every fucking Vosh stream debate, but lately in the last like week or so, mostly because I've been caught last couple weeks, I've been caught up in the server. I've been
Yeah.
talking with people, so I haven't been able to like concentrate a whole lot on drama. So no, I am not caught up, but I'm definitely want to know what's the know-how.
Well, I don't really have any know-how to bring you, unfortunately. I just kind of wanted to go over like what your feelings were about. I think it was Ash that I saw talked about this, but saying that she wanted to focus more on providing resources and help for trans people rather than going over drama again for the nth time.
Yeah.
Um, and that's something
I
that
don't
I
know.
really
It
identify
does
with.
feel like a lot of the discourse just goes back and forth over and over again. Like I mean, we're gonna keep bringing it up because it's recent, but it's discourse. How it seemed like that was over, and then all of a sudden just went right back up again. So I don't know. It's
Yeah.
I totally agree with Ash with on that. That yeah, we should be focusing. A lot of it is a lot of the infighting on just it almost seems like a competition sometimes, like who's more
Mhm.
trans than the other. Like that's how I see it. I don't think that's how people are trying to present it, but that's how I end up seeing it come out.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, it really we should just be focusing more on providing resources. That's another thing I want to give a quick shout out to the Butterfly Collective in Milwaukee. They help BIPOC trans folk, and they set up a lot of events, and they try to help get donations. They'll help link to GoFundMe's for other trans folk in the area who are trying to either get out of bad situations, like they're still living in a transphobic household, or they're just homeless, or whatever they can. They're trying to do what they can to help. So Butterfly Collective in Milwaukee, they are a great organization that if you can ever give them a look up, or if you're from the area, please look into them.
Oh, I'll leave I took a note here just now. I'll leave a link in the description.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, I think it's important to get these resources out to folks. So anytime that I have a guest on, or anytime I'm covering a story or something like that, where there's a resource like that, like there was with the black trans thing in Washington, I love to
Mm,
leave links like that in the description for people to go and click and learn more about it, because I feel like that's one of the parts that I think my channel should be focused on, is highlighting resources and stuff like that for trans folks. So if we can
mm,
get like just spread the knowledge, that would be awesome. So yeah, I'll absolutely leave a link in there. Thank you for mentioning that.
yeah, absolutely. Because yeah, it's especially like being from Milwaukee. You know, BIPOC trans folk, and I mean just BIPOC in Milwaukee in general are heavily discriminated. And I mean, like I said, I was reading an article earlier where I think like black folk in Milwaukee are 12 times more likely to be arrested just on any crime than white folk. And black folk only make up, I think, I don't know, not even, they don't make up a whole lot of the population compared to whites in the state. Sorry,
Yeah.
it was not in Milwaukee, it was in the whole state of Wisconsin. But either way, yeah, that is something that I'm very trying to get more passionate and trying to get more knowledge of, and trying to learn more and use, try to get more involved in helping those who I feel who are definitely need more help, you know.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, I agree. And I think I'd really like to work with Ash on working on some of those resources and stuff. Because I have a very similar view. I think a lot of our time is spent going over this discourse again for the 100th time, and not really moving any heads, and getting everybody fired up and burning bridges and stuff like that over small disagreements that You know, I feel like if we're had in a venue like this, where it's me and you talking,
Hmm.
we'd probably be able to find a lot more common ground. But because they're being held on Twitter, where you're limited by characters, and there's not like full context and you can't explain yourself, like there's a lot of, misinterpretations and stuff that goes over people's heads. And you can't have a
Yeah.
really good, thoughtful conversation on Twitter.
No, you
So
can't.
yeah, I feel like I feel like Ash is right. I think we waste a lot of our time talking about stupid drama like that. Like the Kink It Bride thing, like honestly, really? Do you think anything was gonna come of that? Really? Do you think even if RGR and all of her people were right, do you really think that's gonna change anything? No. No, you're not doing any change. You're just having drama on YouTube or Twitter for clicks, and that's all you're doing. You're not, there's no call to action here. There's
Mm,
nothing. So there's no
agreed.
organizing. I don't know.
I'm not gonna make too many comments back with about that, but again, a lot of it just seems like it is just creating like because if you're
Yeah.
not doing anything about it, then what's the fucking point?
Yeah.
You're just saying it to stir shit at this point, and if you're not
Yeah.
gonna make any kind of attempt to like make a change out of what you're complaining about,
Hmm.
then what's the fucking point?
Yeah. Like it was that one guy that was on my mentions or whatever, and he was like, "Well, you want to come on my channel and debate me?" No, no, I don't. I have plenty of other important things to do than come on your YouTube channel or your Twitch channel and debate you over my existence. No thanks. I'm good. So,
Yeah.
but no, I think we can do a lot of good, and I think Lucy's Discord is really awesome for gathering a lot of these trans people,
Mm-hmm.
especially the ones that want to make change and want to act in good faith. Um, so I think it's going to be a great resource going forward for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, I don't know how much time you have left. I don't want to keep you too long.
No, I'm good. I mean, unless there's anything else you want to, I mean, I've had a great conversation. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm glad. Was there anything else you wanted to really talk about here with me?
I mean, I've wanted to do a lot more like get involved like politically.
Hmm.
And I mean, obviously I've watched, I mean, over the last, 4 years, I think a lot of people got more radicalized and moved further left. Uh, so I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess that's about it. That's I don't know. I'm just gonna say fucking be a leftist. Being a leftist is fucking awesome. That's all I'm gonna say.
yeah. I think leftism is great. I think it's the certainly the way to go for sure.
Uh,
But do you have any other like projects or anything you want to promote?
not really. I'm not much of a like I said. I'm not really
Mhm.
online involved on Twitter or in. I don't really have a much of a presence online. I'm trying to do. I want to get more involved IRL. But, it's more or less first getting taking care of myself and getting all my shit figured out. But doing what I can. Other than yeah, no. Butterfly Collective. Check them out. That's about it. That's all I got for today, I guess.
All right. Well, it was a pleasure having you on. Thank you so much
Absolutely.
for taking the time to come out and speak with me. Of course, you're always welcome anytime you want to be on, so feel free to hit me up. I was thinking actually of doing a Trans in the PM thing this Saturday,
Mhm.
probably around 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. I'm planning on hosting like a little game night where we can all
Ooh.
come together and play some Jackbox. Have you ever played that?
Yeah, I love jackpot games. Those are
I
so much
think
fun.
a little trans Jackbox night would be amazing. We can play
You said this
Quiplash.
yes, you said this Saturday you were looking at doing that?
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah.
am off all weekend. I have the weekend off. So I can stay
Nice.
up late. Oh, I am down for that.
Shit, yeah. Well, I'll post about it in the Discord and see how many people are interested, but I'm thinking we can get some people and we can get like a little trans Quiplash thing going on where we all make trans jokes and stuff. I think that would be a great way to kind of like bring some much needed positive trans humor into the light in a
Yes,
time
I
where
think
we've
that'd
got
be
so much
wonderful.
negative. Yeah. Yeah, I think that
That
would be
sounds
great.
so much fun. I hope everyone's gonna be down for that.
All right. Well, awesome. Yeah. So we'll see you tomorrow for Trans in the PM. It's going to be
Mhm.
hosted live on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Erngern. That's ERNGRN. I do thank you all for stopping by for Trans in the AM today. If you like this show, please leave a comment and a like to help support the channel. And as always, take care and stay unique.